Jimmy Skunk calls on Prickly Porky. Chapter 7. A plague upon Mr. Toad, grumbled Jimmy, as he ambled up the lonely little path through the green forest on his way to the hill where Prickly Porky lives. Of course I'm not afraid, but just the same, I don't like meddling with things I don't know anything about. I'm not afraid of anybody I know of, because everybody has the greatest respect for me. But it might be different with a creature without legs or heads or tail. Who ever heard of such a thing? It gives me a queer feeling inside, said Jimmy Skunk. However, he kept right on, and as he reached the foot of the hill where Prickly Porky lives, he looked sharply in every direction and listened with all his might for the strange sounds. But there was nothing unusual for him to be seen, and the green forest looked just as it always did. It was very still and quiet there, save for the cheerful voices of Red-Eye the Bureau, talking over and over how happy he was. That doesn't sound if there's any terrible creature around here, muttered Jimmy. Then he heard the queer grunting sound. A queer sound. The king came to seem from somewhere up on the top of the hill. And Jimmy grinned as he listened. That's Prickly Porky telling himself how good this dinner tastes, laughed Jimmy. Funny how people do like to hear their own voices. The contented sound of Prickly Porky's voice made Jimmy feel very sure that there could be nothing terrible about this. Anyway, so he slowly ambled up the hill. For you know, he never hurries. It was an easy matter to find the tree in which Prickly Porky was at work, stripping off the bark and eating it because he made so much noise. Hello, said Jimmy Skunk. Prickly Porky took no notice. He was so busy eating and making so much noise about it, he didn't hear Jimmy at all. Hello, shouted Jimmy a little louder. Hello there, are you deaf? Of course, this wasn't polite at all, but Jimmy was feeling a little out of sorts because he had been made this call. This time Prickly Porky looked down. Oh, hello yourself. You see how you like it? Jimmy Skunk, he cried. Come on up and have some of this nice bark with me. Then Prickly Porky laughed at his own joke, for he knew perfectly well that Jimmy couldn't climb and that he wouldn't eat bark if he could. And Jimmy made a face at him. Thank you, I've just dined. Come down here where I can talk to you without straining my voice, he replied. Wait until I get another bite, replied Prickly, and he stripped off a long piece of bark. Then, with this, he chewed on it, and he got halfway down the tree and made himself comfortable on a big limb. Now, what is it that you've got on your mind, he demanded. At once, Jimmy told him the queer story Peter Rabbit had told. I've been sent up here to find out if you've seen this legless, headless, tailless creature. Have you? He concluded. Prickly Porky slowly shook his head. No, said he. I've been right here all the time, and I haven't seen any such creature. That's all I want to know, replied Jimmy. Peter Rabbit's got something the matter with his eyes, and I'm going to go straight back to the old briar patch to tell him so. Much obliged. And with that, Jimmy started back the way he came, grumbling to himself. The end. God is great all the time, all the time.